in a way, the functionality of skeuomorphism is now obsolete. We know what a trash can is going to do. We know what a folder is going to do. It doesn't need to look like a realistic depiction of one in order to inform us of its function. And so inevitably, the skeuomorphism of conversation design will probably evolve also. And the question is, what happens? What happens when the sort of like flourish and residue of conversation, the way that we're used to experiencing it with people, is slimmed down to its bare minimum? And so I had these questions, and I was recognizing that not a lot of other designers were looking at voice interface design the same way that I was. Most were relying on the principles of fairly traditional human-to-human conversation as sort of a rule, as a guide for developing interaction. And so I wanted to question, what if we did it differently? What if we thought of it as a system of sounds and abbreviated words that we could interact with quickly? I recorded conversations, I eavesdropped on them, I watched people use a drive-through window for a while, and what I began to see is that, there's a lot of conversation that carries more than information. There's gesture, there's laughter, there are pauses, and all of this can add context and nuance to the things that we're saying. And in some situations, that's valuable information. But then in other cases, it's simply elongating the experience of asking a question or receiving an answer. The nature of the way that a car horn sounds and the nature of the whoosh that you hear when you send an email away are completely different. One is an artificial sound, and the other comes from nature, a page turning or a paper airplane flying through the air. And so, for one of my experiments, I questioned whether or not all sounds could come from an environment that made them cohesive, and what that would be like. If we only imagine AI as being human-like, then we'll only design it as being human-like. And inevitably, artificial narrow intelligence will lead to artificial general intelligence, will lead to artificial superintelligence, and humans will be less useful than they are now. And so I wanted to sort of begin to think about ways that AI, and in particular VUIs, can function not just as an assistant that completes tasks for us or removes the need to complete tasks at all, but a tool that makes tasks more efficient, maybe even more delightful. I think that VUIs and chatbots are a really exciting space to be working in, because they are really one of the first spaces where universal design is expressing itself digitally. We have websites that have been coded to be conducive to screen reader usage, and physical tools that help handicapped people to operate computers. But really, these are add-ons to a system that's been designed essentially for sighted, able-bodied people. And I think that VUIs are really one of the first places in technology, digital technology, where both disabled and abled people are being included from the first stages of design.